Have you ever walked into a room and instantly felt the urge to adjust yourself? Maybe you put on that bright smile. Maybe you said what you thought people wanted to hear. Or maybe you went quiet, hoping no one would notice you. We all do it. We wear masks, not the kind you buy in a costume shop, but the kind you craft over years of learning what feels safe for you. And today I want us to look at why we put them on, why they feel protective, and what it costs us when we wear them for too long. But before we get started, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, where I share meditations and reflections that go even deeper into these conversations. And again, welcome everybody. I'm really thrilled that you're here. I'm Mary Beth Rim, so welcome again to the Soul Talk podcast. Masks aren't about deception. They're about protection. A mask is that polished version of yourself that you put forward so you don't risk too much. It's the I'm fine answer when you're anything but fine. It's the strong, put together face when inside you're unraveling. And here's the thing. Masks work, at least for a while, because they keep us safe. They help us fit in. They even help us survive painful seasons. But eventually they start to wear us down. So let's look at three of the biggest reasons why we wear them. One, there's fear. Two, vulnerability. And three, probably the biggest of all, judgment. Let's start with fear. Fear is one of the most powerful forces in why we put on masks. Think about it. Fear whispers, if they see the real me, they'll walk away. Have you ever had that feeling? I know I have. It's the fear of being too much, or perhaps not enough. The fear of being rejected for who you truly are. I remember years ago sitting in a professional meeting, and everyone around the table, they seemed so confident, so knowledgeable. And there I was, my heart racing, afraid to speak up. My mask that day, it was competence. Of course, I nodded along, I smiled, I threw in a couple of safe comments. But underneath, my fear said, don't let them see you doubt yourself. Have you ever done that? I mean, sat in a room and thought, if I reveal what I'm really thinking, they'll see I don't belong here. See, fear convinces us we'll only be loved, valued, or accepted if we keep the mask in place. And we do what everybody wants us to do, or what we think everybody wants us to do. And to be honest, that is exhausting. It is literally exhausting. So let's talk now about vulnerability. Vulnerability is really scary. It's very scary because it's the opposite of the mask. Vulnerability says, here I am. I'm here. I'm messy. I'm imperfect. I'm human. And that feels like standing in the middle of a stage with no script, or standing in the middle of a room with no clothes on, no costume, no safety net. So what do? We reach for the mask. We show strength instead of weakness. We show control instead of chaos. I'll give you an example. Think about athletes and runners. maybe even yourself. Have you ever been injured? I know I have. I'm actually just coming out of one. But when someone asks, you say, "Oh, I'm fine. It's nothing." The mask of invincibility, because admitting pain feels vulnerable. Or maybe in your personal life, you've been hurting. But when a friend asks, "How you doing?" you say, "I'm good." That's the mask of composure, because you don't want them to know that you're hurting. Then they'll think differently of you, or that's what you think. Vulnerability feels too risky. But here's the paradox. When we avoid vulnerability, we also block connection, because true connection only happens when we let someone see us as we are. So ask yourself, what would happen if, instead of always saying, "I'm fine, I'm good," you let someone see you tired or hear the crack in your voice? Yes, it might feel risky, but it might also be the doorway to being seen and truly loved for who and what you are. And then there's judgment. Oh, this one's a tricky one. This one's a tough one. Judgment both from others and from, especially, ourselves might be the heaviest reason of all. We wear masks because we've learned that people can be quick to judge. Maybe you grew up hearing, "Don't be too loud. Don't be too emotional. Don't stand out. Don't say that. Don't do that." So you learn to hide parts of yourself. Or maybe you tried once to share something real and someone laughed at you, or they dismissed you, or turned away. And the sting of that judgment told you, "Never again will I ever let anybody see me." But judgment isn't just external. We're often our own harshest critics. How many times have you judged yourself before anyone else even had the chance? I know I did. I still do from time to time. You thought, "I can't show up like this. I'll look weak. I'll sound stupid. I'll be rejected." So you polished the mask until it looked acceptable. Here's the hard truth. Masks may protect us from judgment, but they also imprison us. Because no matter how perfect the mask, deep down we still feel unseen. And let me say this, people can't love what they can't see. If all we offer is the mask, then all people can respond to is the mask. And that keeps us lonely, even in a crowded room. So I want to invite you to pause and reflect this week and write down and look at it a few times. What mask do you notice yourself wearing most often? Is it the mask of competence, of strength, of perfection, of "I'm fine"? And underneath that mask, what's the fear, the vulnerability, or the judgment that you're protecting yourself from? You don't need to change it today. Just notice. Awareness is always the first step. Masks are a part of being human. They help to survive, but they're not meant to be permanent. This week, simply notice your mask. Notice when fear, vulnerability, or judgment nudges you to reach for that. And ask yourself, what would it feel like to set it down, even for just a moment? And next week, we'll go further into how we can begin loosening those masks and stepping into authenticity, what it really looks like to live as ourselves. I want to thank you so much for joining me today on the Soul Talk podcast. And remember, if these conversations speak to you, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, where you'll find guided meditations and reflections that deepen this journey. And also, every day, I will have a guided meditation about this particular topic. So please subscribe and have a listen. Again, keep moving forward, one step, one breath, one layer at a time, toward the freedom of being fully yourself. I'm Mary Beth Rim. Until next time.